I guess I'm going to start. Hi, everybody. Happy, healthy new year. Welcome back. Glad to see you on this side of 2021. So as most of you who are with us, this is our Thursday evening conversations, insightful conversations you will find. And the theme for the month of January is It's Time to Be Here Now. And along with that spirit, tonight's conversation is every moment is a new beginning. And I'm grateful to be here with all of you. And the moment that really matters for all of us is the present moment. Doesn't matter what we did a minute ago, and we don't know the future. So what really matters to us is what are you doing right now? And right now you are with us. And I'm very grateful that you are. And I'm grateful to the Global Harmony House for having these Thursday evening conversations. And tonight we have a wonderful speaker. Many of you are familiar with Ram. Ram Singhal is been here a number of times. He's a very wonderful, warm speaker. And just to give you a little background, if you're not familiar with Ram, he is a civil engineer he was working as director of engineering at a consulting firm in New York. And he happened to be on the date, that infamous date, if you will, 9/11, on the 64th floor of the World Trade Center. And he had the presence of mind to put others in front of him, and he saved countless people from all that happened. And he got out of the building with these people he put in front of him just 5 minutes before it collapsed. Had been with the Brahma Kumaris since 1975. He is a senior teacher of Raj Yoga meditation, and he is currently coordinating a global campaign, 7 Billion Acts of Goodness, traveling to more than 500 cities in 18 countries, making literally thousands of presentations. And we are so grateful, and it's always a pleasure, Ram, to see you. Even I've had the privilege of seeing you live, but it's just as wonderful to be with you virtually. So I take it away, Ram. And as you know, at the end, we're going to have questions and answers. And Ram will lead us in I'm sure to be a delightful meditation. Thank you so much. And Ram, take it away.
Thank you, Michelle. So nice to see you the beginning of the year.
Thank you.
See, like I had been talking, like even in Peace Village, I am at present time, and that's where I am. And I happen to take a chance even to talk about our timing at present time. Because many times we live either in the worries of the future or the resentment of the past. Like our so much time gets spent and wasted thinking of what I could not do or what wrong things I did. And I feel that, oh, I have to be honest. I say to myself, oh, I have to be honest. So I have to evaluate myself honestly. And most of the time, in the name of honesty, I pick all the wrong things which happened to me, or all the mistakes I performed, or whatever I could not do. And many times they say time of reckoning, time of s- s- uh, s- you know uh, uh, judging your own self. But somehow or another, I really feel why I have to think of what I could not do. Why don't I only think what I was able to do? What are the good things which happened to me? Or what are the things I learned? Because many times, even though it looks like something terrible happened to me, but then I find actually that terrible thing happened, whatever losses or the things happened to me, I was able to get such a good lesson from that situation. Actually, what I learned from the situation was much bigger than the damage or losses I incurred because of that situation. I have seen so many times I have seen this situation with myself, certain things I did in the past, and I'm resenting it. But then when I find all those things which happened to me, even my weaknesses, I find because of my one weakness, I actually develop many good qualities within myself. Or with any little mistakes I did, for every one mistake, I happen to do many good things because of that mistake. To make up for that mistake, I did many good things. Since then, I started to feel actually once I am honest and sincere, and I am working with diligently on doing things, whatever happens to me or whatever I am able to accomplish, it is only a win-win situation. So this is how I want to see my past. So if I want to make a list of how many good things happen to me, forget about my weaknesses or problem situation. No. I am not going to get into anything. I am only going to get into what I was able to do. Many times I talk to people that even in my field, engineering field, I had been in planning, design, construction management. What I have found that the worker at the end of the day, and the manager, end of the day, the worker is happier than the manager. The reason? The manager is only thinking what could not be done, what was left to be done, and the worker is happy what he or she was able to do on that day, because their focus is on what they were able to accomplish. They are more happier at the end of the day. So same way our this year has ended. If I want to make a list of the things, only good things, even supposing you had the goal of achieving something 100, you made effort, even if you accomplished 50 or 40 or 60, whatever it is, if you had not started making any effort, you would not have even accomplished that 30, 40, 50%. So that means I should cherish that what I wanted to do last year and what it happened, that actually whatever happened, my physical accomplishment plus the lessons I learned from that situation. So I am a I am a winner in my last year. So even we went through the coronavirus and those kind of difficult things, but just to make a list of how many good things happened to you because of coronavirus. It made us humble. It made us accepting the things. It made us really closer to each other in many ways. I was able to see what is my bottom line of my needs and my priorities. How many things I found out that I could live without, which I could not do before. How many times I realized, wow, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this thing, but still I'm able to survive. So whatever I can live without, it gives me freedom, the freedom from the fear of losing it. So that's what it is. I learned how to go back to my bottom line. Or, in other words, going back to my basic, very, very basic requirement. That means I came on the floor and I cannot go lower than the floor. So I was able to see myself as a human being in a totality. What I am made of, what is my capacity, what are my needs, what are my goals. I was able to see it very, very clearly. So even the coronavirus has brought lot of positive changes in us. So I make list of only what I was able to do something good. And the future, when we talk about, we have seen in our life many times we talk about happiness. Happiness, we think if I have a good job, I am happy. If I have lot of wealth, I am happy. You will find good position, good health. After a while, it becomes just mundane. That becomes your bottom line. I am in a high position. After a while, it is only work. Maybe once in a while you think, oh yes, I am director, I am president, I am vice president, I make so much money. But after a while, whatever my position is, it becomes a just a bottom line in many ways. I have to achieve more and more and more all the time in order to be happy. But on the other side, you will find the real joy comes from something you found good about yourself, some kind of inner resources you were able to use in order to deal with some very, very difficult situation, or what you were able to accomplish which was looking like totally impossible. And any time you were able to make the impossible into possible, that is where the joy is. That is where the life is actually. Many times we talk about that, what is crisis? To me, when you really look into our life, if the time of crisis, I grow up maximum. in the time of crisis, all my inner resources awaken up. In the time of crisis, I am able to find myself, where I stand, who my friends are, what are my needs. And you will find, if somebody asks you, share your life experience, you will not share what went good, what good happened to you when you were having good time. You will always remember and share when you were in the most terrible situation. Nothing was working out, totally helpless. And then how you really worked on yourself. You tapped into your inner resources, new energy which you did not see you have, new capabilities and abilities which you did not think you have. You were able to bring them up, and how you use them, and then how you came out of the hole. And when you were in the hole, and when you started to accept yourself as you are able to forgive other people for their mistakes. You are able to become humble about the situation, and then started to work way out. So even when you came out of the hole, the momentum you gained, you did not stop just at the surface. You went much, much higher than that. So that means you grew up. So growth happens only in the time of crisis. To me, life is, if there is no crisis, there's no life. Uh, we have been forced. In other words, our life has been built around crisis actually. It's only in the time of crisis I really build myself, I grow up, and that becomes basis of my future actions, future endeavors, because I know where I stand. So some or another, I even say that actually if the crises are so good that it really makes me grow up. Like you go in a movie, everything is going smooth in the first 5-10 minutes. Mundane things are happening. We are going to work, and traffic is going nicely and all that. And then we say, oh, when the movie will begin, and then accident happens, somebody dies, somebody gets separated, somebody had big losses or something. Then we, really become straight, and oh, now the story begins, now the movie begins. Is it true or not? So that means my life, or my life story begins only when I have crisis in my life. But the question is, should I really think of the crisis all the time? That I really say, if I don't have in my life any crisis, create crisis. Even though you might laugh about it, what you mean by creating a crisis? So this is where I feel crisis is when something is beyond my comprehension, some task or some situation, or beyond my capabilities, beyond my resources, beyond my even imaginations. Something totally, totally impossible. And then it's a crisis. So, what it really means is that find something which is impossible. Go into your wildest of imaginations and try to take up the tasks which you never thought about, totally new, in the unknown territories. Because only when there is a fear, because naturally crisis will bring fear. Only when there is a fear, courage has chance to come out from your system. Otherwise, it is dormant. But when I am in fear, then the courage has a chance to shine. When I am in a state of uncertainty, then my faith has a chance to come to me. Otherwise, it's dormant. Even when we are in the toughest of situation, total failure, nothing is working out, you feel a tap on your shoulder. You feel as if higher being, God of my faith, whatever I believe in, tapped my shoulder that I am here with you. I am here for you. So don't you worry about anything. I think we have at least few times we have experienced this in our life, that where you felt I am connected with the higher being. The higher being has come in my life. So that means it's the time of failure and the lowest of my time in my life, when I see I give chance even to the higher being to come into my life. It's only time of crisis. So when I talk about the impossible, what I really mean by that, something looking totally impossible. Like who would have imagined cell phone 50 years ago? It would have looked impossible, but now it's possible. Sorry, so something beyond my imagination, but it has a process. Wright brothers, they started to imagine in 1904 that they want to fly like birds. And actually, that was the time of the invention of the plane. So our imaginations are connected somewhere with our time. It is connected somewhere with our potential. I can imagine only what has to happen or what has happened in my life. So that means any imagination you see in your life, nothing is without any reality. You cannot imagine anything which is not real. Only thing is the time could be different, situation could be different. It could be part of your potential or part of the near future. Things are happening, but you find your imaginations are connected with time and space. So that means any time any imagination come to you, grab it, start to work on it, make it a dream. Imagination, make it a dream. In other words, you start to feel maybe even you feel that people might make fun of you. It might look totally impossible, but somehow or another, you start to have some concept in your mind. Like being an engineer, I know lots of time I imagine things. Actually, it looks like I'm imagining, but in my imagination, I can see the house, I can see the end product in my mind. Even though it's difficult to explain in the very beginning, because the imaginations are very kind of organic, they go in all directions. But little by little, they start to take a shape in your mind. You start to feel maybe it is possible, even though it looks totally impossible, but maybe 1%, 2%, 5%. So I start with that. And then concepts start to become more and more clear. And the more and more it is happening, you start to feel somewhere maybe it is possible. Then you start to create some kind of design, some kind of process or something you want to explain to other people, and they're not able to understand. Then slowly you explain to them more and more and more, and finally you get approval, and then you make a design, and then after the design, then you do the construction, and when the construction finishes, you got what you used to imagine. So you could see it's a process. The impossible is possible. Like a magic. Magician perform magic, we know it's false. It is fake. But still we clap. And I wish I could also perform that magic. But when we think of, like I will use the word God, higher being, we say God is magician. We accept that. But God's magician, the magic of God is not fake. It is a real magic. That means turning us from the lowest to the highest. Ordinary people can turn into angels. God can do that. God can help us do that. But there is a process. It is not a fake magic, it's a practical magic. So when God comes into my life, what start to happen? What was looking like impossible, it start to have some hope. Maybe I can accomplish. Maybe I can do it. Then you start to see your inner resources. You see that where you can get the help, or where whatever it opens you up. It makes you humble. You are able to talk to people without feeling vulnerable. Or people might make fun of you, but somehow, little by little, you feel maybe. See, I give you example this the program 7 billion acts of goodness. When I really thought about it, it was looking like totally impossible. Who will listen to me? People will make fun of me. People did make fun of me. And I start to talking this one, that one, that one. Then somebody say, "Oh, maybe it is possible. Why don't you go for it?" So I got little bit encouragement. Then I started to think again. Then start to talk, and people, they no, it's not possible. So it took 1 year, 2 years, and little by little I started talking some more. But ultimately, it became reality. But how it became reality? I started from 1%, 2%, talking to 5%, 10%. I was not looking for people say, oh, you should have the opening with big people. Maybe you invite the governor or invite this one and then have a big bang kind of thing. But somehow or another, I said, but I don't understand what it is. So I started to talk to the grassroots level people. So you could see that means whatever highest goals I have in my life, I want to achieve, like say in this new year, turning the impossible into possible, break it into small segments. You will find that when you are able to break it up into small, the smallest of the component, and start to deal with that. The task is big, the time frame is also big, but let me supposing something is to be done in 1 year, split it into what I can achieve in 1 month. Then what I can do in 1 week, what I can do in 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute, at this moment, what I can do. This second, what I can do. And you will find out of all the big projects you have, the big things in your mind, pick up the ones you can do it right now. Don't think of what is looking like impossible, but looking at the what is possibilities. Start to work on that, and then grow with the smallest of tiniest fraction of successes. So that means I can split even within 1 second. I can split even the second. So that means I am able to put the stop. And many times we say, or turning off the page, many times we use the word, finishing the sentence, putting the full stop, then the paragraph, new paragraph, then the new page, then the new chapter, then the book. The whole book can be created, but the whole book and go to the lowest sentence, creating one sentence, make one line. So this is how we are able to turn the impossible into possible. So, for me, when I really want to share this thought that in this new year, turning the impossible into possible. In other words, whatever I had been imagining in my life, that I want to do it, I want to do it, but I was not able to do up till now, bring that imagination and make it that I am going to turn the impossible into possible. The word impossible has been derived from possible. If there was no word possible, I could not have the word impossible. So that means when the I am is, then say I am possible. Just think that I am possible, impossible. And try this thing. Somehow I also find something. Many times the conventional wisdom is that do what you are able to do or go with your capacity, whatever is within your capacity, within your parameter you can handle, only take up this much task. But what I have found, any time when I takes the task only whatever are my resources or my abilities or what I can easily do, there is no charm, there is no creativity, there is no fun in doing it. Oh, I can do it anyway. So there is no joy. But only when I take up something which is totally, totally difficult, impossible. Actually, when you are taking the impossible in your hand, you have hope, you have the courage, you become humble, you start to go out, you start to look for help here and there. You are able to be vulnerable. Let people make fun of me. I don't mind. So, in other words, when I take something much, much bigger than my life, that is where our inner resources. Now they say, oh, maybe this one can help. And as soon as I think, oh, maybe this one can help, I'm smiling. Oh, maybe this might happen. So I am able to have dreams, many, many dreams. So I feel that when I want to turn the impossible into possible, split it into multiple dreams. Okay, maybe that. And for example, I was traveling, I will just start calling people. Can I come? I want to share this thing. I can go to school, colleges. I can just go to the even villages. I doesn't matter how many people come to the program because I know that people are driven by fear. If there is a topic of anger management, fear management, so many people will come to the program. But when we say a program on goodness, people say, oh, it's a boring subject. I might get 10 people only. Other side, 100. Because the goodness is something uplifting, something beyond the imagination, something above and beyond my capacity. So that it takes time for people to lift themselves up. Whereas the anger and all that is daily experience. So we are driven by the fear. I know, yes, yes, I want to get rid of fear. I want to get rid of all this trouble, the anger and everything. I want to get rid of. But when I think of goodness and happiness, this is what I can do. When I am dealing with anger, I am reacting. But when I am thinking of goodness, I am acting. So that means the whole universe is in front of me. When I want to act, new territory, new ideas, new creativity, and then I start to feel it doesn't matter if it doesn't work or not. I can go with smaller. So when we talk about the living in the present time, this second or this minute, that means pick up something which you can do right now. Having the bigger goal in front of you, but doing what you can do at this time. So that is why many times people used to say, act locally, think globally. That means I am in my apartment, in my room, in my place, or I'm on my desk, whatever. I am acting locally, but I have the vision of the whole world. That my action, my enthusiasm will spread like virus, but the positive virus, it can spread all over the world. So same way, doing small but thinking big. That means act locally, think globally. Same way, acting small but thinking big. Acting ordinary but thinking of extraordinary, something special. So that is where I am just looking for learning to live in the present, because only present time is the time when I can act. Past is with me in the form of my personality, my outlook, my attitude, any action I have performed in the past. It's not that I have just, it is gone. No, no past, nothing in the past that happened, it will go away. It gets recorded in the soul in the form of, we call it sanskaras or personality traits. That means whatever a situation will come, myself and somebody else, based on my sanskaras, we will react differently. Like you will see, even in a situation, somebody is crying for help and somebody is ready to give help. How much is the difference? Same situation. Both are going through the same pain and difficulty or whatever adverse situation. But even in the same situation, both are suffering, but one person is ready to help other person. Now that is the beauty. So this is where, when we talk about that, in the time of crisis, when others are suffering, you are suffering, find somebody who is in more pain and sorrow than you are, and start to help that person and experiment with it. You will see your pain and sorrows will subside or disappear. Now that's my experience. When Michelle, you talk about the act of, the World Trade Center experience, that's what my experience was. I just started to help people. And that is when people, they saw me, I'm just stepping back to bring the people in front of me, giving my space to other people. People even start calling me angel. And now it looks like that we are just kind of reducing the value of the word angel. But somehow or another, I felt it's not me. I said, I called myself. Somebody else felt that way. So that means there is a definition on an ordinary level too, an angel. So the angel means the one who is able to help other people in the time of need. And so then I started to think more and more. I don't have to think of becoming a big angel. I can be a particle of angel, a tiny, a micro angel. So that means wherever I am, in whatever situation I am in, I start helping other people. So I am becoming like a living angel, ordinary angel. I don't have to become big, big famous angels. That's why many times we think angels means something somebody did impossible or a big, big task. And then we say, oh, I'm nothing. But if I say, no, I'm an ordinary person, I can be an ordinary angel. They are big angel, I can become a tiny angel. I can become a particle of angel, particle angel. So if I start to think that there are always possibilities, under all circumstances, there is an opportunity to help other people out. So that means my giving becomes actually my receiving automatically. So then you don't calculate things. Then you are not in the process of give and take. I did so much, you do this much for me. I find there will be disappointment if you will think of give and take. The new slogan for this year is my relationship is based on giving, giving, and only giving. Being children of God, I carry God's DNA, and God's DNA is of giving, giving. So that means let me think of any relationship. That means I am building relationship with people, and relationship building is I am giving. I am there to help. I am there not to take. Even though conventional wisdom is give and take, but then there is a disappointment. You will never get what you gave because I am dealing with the physical energy. Law of physical energy is the law of entropy. Something get lost in the process. So I give 100, they will get only 95 because we add some of our personalities, a little bit anger, a little bit impatience. So other person does not receive how much I have given. And they will also give the same amount and I will not be satisfied. But the real thing is that my receiving comes good health. I remain happy. I get blessings from people. Accident happens, I am saved. I have to make a life decision. I end up making the right decision. Sometimes we don't realize that my fortune or my justice comes from very, very unknown kind of situation. We are not able to recognize that how good I am compared to the world. Now, is it not? It's not by chance that why I am much much better than so many people in the world. Maybe that's part of all the good actions I perform. It is not wherever I do something good, I will get the goodness back from the same person. No, goodness travels from one person to another person to another person, and finally it comes back to me. But in different time, different stage, different person, different circumstances. So, but I have forgotten what actually this is the result of what I did even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or certain things come back to us out of nowhere. And we say, oh, I am lucky. No, there is something more than luck. And that is what I did good in my life. So that means keep doing good. Somehow good will keep happening to me. There is a lag period between what I do and when it will bring the fruit. But many times we get impatient that I want the fruit right away. And when I don't get it, I get disappointed. So making a big heart. So if I want to think of the new world, the new time, new year, act locally, think globally, do small good things, and think of the goodness in the world. So we are going to build the world of goodness. Now we are talking about building back, building back. We are talking about building back New York. The governor says many, many times, building back New York and building it better. Then we talk about building back America. Why not we think of building back the paradise, the heaven? Heaven is not something imaginary. Heaven means where there is love, there is joy, there are people are together, they think alike, they agree with each other. And in the time of crisis, what we are going through at present time, one is the virus or this political situation, our financial situation. Actually, this is with the crisis also is bringing out the opportunity to build. That means like building relationship. The way we build account, bank account. How I put in more. take out less. Same way I can build a relationship, build happiness, build bridges between two opinions. And so that means I become part of building the world of happiness. So this is where I want to share something. And now I am open to any questions or any other things you want to share or make some comments and whatever.
Okay. Well, if anyone has any questions, please put it in the chat, or we have a Q&A as well. I just want, thank you so much, Ram. Wow, you gave us a lot to unpack in a very short amount of time. I took some notes, but I did see that everything does tie together. When you speak and you speak on so many, you're so well versed on so many subjects, but somehow they all pull together. One thing I thought about, and everything you've said, I've been fortunate to actually have happened. Although now studying with you and the Brahma Kumaras, I have a better understanding as to why, but I have experienced a lot of things. One of the things that I always said, and I didn't come up with this, but when there's a break in a bone, for example, that's when the bone is the strongest. When it heals, it's the strongest at the break. And this I know because in my past life, I used to work in healthcare, and it's true, scar tissue is stronger than skin tissue.
Ah,
So that's something that when you spoke of that in a way by saying when there's something that is troubling and you think it's a bad thing, you don't realize that's when the good and the benefits will happen when you most at the time seem to suffer. And I agree with you. Things that at the time I felt was devastating. Like, how am I, at work, how am I going to, everyone's looking at me, how am I going to manage? And I had a public
yes,
life. My career was public, and I made a move that I thought, oh, I'll never manage. Well, little did I know that down the line, looking back, that was a good thing that happened to
that's
me. I
right.
benefited from it. At
That
the
is,
moment, it was horrible. But looking back, I went, wow, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have been here. And that ties again to what you had said, that you don't always get the fruit instantly. That
yes.
sometimes the fruit, if you're good and you're doing it for good reasons, you can get the fruit later on. So I now understand not everything you said, but so much of what you said. And it was so important. And I wonder if there's anyone else that would like to comment on their own experience where at the moment they felt devastated. Oh, how will I manage? But looking back with a different lens, that was a good thing that happened, that you took some benefit from it. Does anyone have any comments about that in the audience? Because that's a really profound thing of having patience and understanding, and also about karma. And you touched on that too, that, I used to say, gee, I must have done something good along the line to have this happen to me, even though at the moment it seemed. So I go on and on, but if anyone has any comments about that or like to put in the chat or speak, maybe we could, if you raise your hand or something, we can.
Tamar has opened her hand, so she can speak now if you want.
Sure.
Yes, I would like to first say thank you, Ram, for such a nice presentation, especially after the big disappointment of yesterday when everybody's on rest. And it's a time of crisis now with legislation and the compromise of our very fabric of democracy. And it's very important now where everyone is saying, don't talk about politics, it's taboo. And everyone's feeling heavy in their heart. And as you said, it's a time of crisis. I mean, you said, and I wrote this down about being local, but thinking globally. And I wanted to ask a question as to handle this unsettling feeling that you have now, like everything is falling apart. It is the crisis point in our life where everybody collectively is feeling it. And how do you address bringing out the kindness, even though they tell you not to talk about anything, but how do you address the point that now we're in a situation where our country is divided with all of these things going around, and how do we address the crisis and bring out the goodness?
See, even in this situation, we can say the country is the big thing, right? But then you start to see, then go back to the country, the state, your town, then your family. What is the lowest denomination or the smallest denomination, or where it starts to me? With my family, but even before my family, even with my own self. So that means that when I am in the mode of the crisis, that means there is a fear, there is uncertainty, you don't know what will happen. Just to give you a small example, that even whatever happened yesterday, but see, in a way, so many hearts got changed because of the terrible things, whatever happened yesterday. It brought the people together in many, many ways. It's not the 100%. So first of all, never to think of that 100% result will come right away, but the movement began of where people started, the people who are staunch, enemies, they will never talk to each other. They started talking to each other. Somewhere they started to be common, the common ground, the common thing. So people start to see that our common goal. And everybody's talking about, no, this is not the way. We are better than that. That's what we always use the word. We are better than that. So that means the better self start to emerge. But somehow or another, it just happen only when we go into the lowest of our point. Like I'm in the ditch, I'm in the hole. Only this thing happens. So there is some kind of, like I don't know what's the answer of that. But main thing is that something good came out of yesterday, whatever happened. But then when it comes to, when I talk about our topic is the smallest of the denominator, here that comes to myself. That means how good I can be with my own self. Am I able to accept myself as I am? Am I able to uh, you know deal with my inner conflicts? In the, you say we have all kind of inner dialogue is going on. Sometimes anger, sometimes desperation, sometimes kindness, sometimes the beautiful thoughts. So you could see there is a inner conflict going on too within myself. So that is where I can find my best, that I can be tolerant about myself, my mistakes, my problems. So that is first thing. Then being nice to my body, because the soul is the one which puts energy in the body. Am I happy with my body? Am I able to love my body the way it is? That means, am I able to appreciate rather than thinking wherever the pain is in the body? Can I give a little bit love to that place of the pain rather than condemning the pain? Let me give love to the pain. So then it comes that being nice to myself. I am able to forgive myself for all the wrong things I have done. And then same thing with my relationship. Find something which you can do little bit more with people, like little bit more patience, little bit more tolerance, little bit more of love which you can give. So this is how you're acting locally, acting within the family, but your mind is that the world family, the country is a family. So thinking that way, this is my starting point, and then we can think of the bigger things too. But first of all, what I can do to myself to be nice to my own self, to my family, with my neighbors, and it can grow like that. Because otherwise, then you'll think of the big thing. This it's impossible. I am helpless. I cannot do anything. Okay, when we think of vote, I am only one vote. But when you think of myself, part of the unit, And if I can improve myself, if I can be happy with myself and with my family, I am making a unit of happiness. And maybe that is how I see that then even our outlook can change. Even in the morning, I was reading Murli, I was just talking to, like whatever in the morning, I was just sharing, that's just talking to yourself that what goodness emerged from within yesterday and admire that and say, wow, I really felt something, some goodness came out of my system. To me, that is why this is how we can really work with ourselves. Otherwise, things too big, we are not able to do it, but start doing from micro. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes.
Let love begin with me,
Yes.
right? With every step I take, let peace begin with me. So we've talked about that on many Thursdays. So, and I like the way you talked about the tap. I've gotten that tap. I felt that tap throughout my life. Sometimes I didn't know what, I always kind of knew what the tap was. Has anyone felt that tap that Ram talked about when you think, nobody's there for you and you get that still quiet tap? I've had that tap. It's very powerful, right?
Yes. That is our whole life is built on. That is the faith that somebody is looking after me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you want more taps, right? Always looking for that tap. It's there. It was very powerful. Well, I think now we're going to have you take us into a wonderful, as only you can, a meditation. If everyone's ready, let's get together and get our feet on the ground and comfortable. And Ram, take us away.
Just seeing the situation of the present time. We are seeing a bigger picture, but bigger picture is too big and I am too small. I am only a one person. What can I do? But let me become even smaller than that. Rather than thinking of the outside world, let me turn within myself. From my body, the power of the soul is in the whole body. Let me withdraw all the powers from all parts of my body and keep on going towards the center of the forehead, the soul energy. And I, the soul, I want to experience myself, the core of my being. I want to journey to myself. I want to feel myself, see myself. So I go deeper and deeper within myself. I bypass all the problems, all the hurt feelings, all the negative things, whatever, all the tasks I have to perform. I just bypass. Like this is the time I want to just feel myself, see myself, and I go deeper and deeper within myself. And I start to feel comfortable. I start to feel so light. And slowly, I reach the core of my being. At the core, what I am. And I experience so much calmness, so much love, so much inner joy, so much hope. And I start to see myself as a good soul that is good at the core. And I want to bring out my core values, bring them out in whatever form they are. I understand my values are afraid. They don't want to come out. There is fear of advantage taken off. People can exploit my goodness. They can exploit my love. My love is vulnerable, weak, but it's so beautiful. I want to show this beauty to the whole world. How much love and care I have. So I bring that love out. And with great humility, I offer this to the higher being, God of my faith. God, accept this love as is, weak or vulnerable or ignorant, but fills that love with godly wisdom. And I start to learn how to use this love, when to use this, how to deliver that love, what's the quantity, and how to deliver it, the method. So I learn all these things, how to deliver my love. So love is filled with wisdom, right proportion, appropriate. And also God fills this love with godly power. So now my love is filled with godly power. It's not vulnerable anymore, but it becomes my strength. So my love, which is weak and vulnerable, is filled with wisdom and becomes my strength. And as I feel good about myself, I start to share this goodness. I start to build the atmosphere of goodness with my body, with my surroundings, with the people around me, and also the whole world in front of me. Yes, I can do it. The impossible is possible. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Ram. That was wonderful. And thank you every time you speak to remind us that we share God's DNA. So we have a lot of power, don't we? We have a lot of abilities that we can tap into. You always are a reminder of that. And to that, we are grateful and thankful for your wisdom, your knowledge, as well as your wonderful commentary, meditation. And thank you all for your lovely comments in the chat room. You got a lot of thanks, Ram, tonight.
Yeah.
Good night. Thank you all for that, and Happy New Year.
Okay.
So let me just make a few announcements, because as we continue in our Thursday conversations, our insightful conversations, Next week on Thursday, January 14th, we will have Spiritual Awakening and the Courage to Come Alive. And just keep in mind that we are having a big event on Thursday, January 21st, in honor of the founding father of the Brahma Kumaris. So stay tuned for that. And that will be on January 21st. And I put in the chat room that there will be a new meditation class starting on Monday, January 11th at 6:30 p.m. And if you call Harmony House, or I put the registration on, you must register, but you can call Harmony House at 516-773-0971 or register at the address I put in the chat room. And with that, I wish everyone a wonderful week and Om Shanti. And thank you, Brother Eric, always, and Sister Inez, and all our wonderful people that shared tonight with us. Thank you again, Ram, and good night all. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Ram. Everybody who came. Have a great new year, and may the goodness always be with you.
Thank you.